Hey everybody, Leanna Martens, your Edmonton real estate expert, and we are back again with my favorite expert, Jackie Woodward, that mortgage girl. 40 years of mortgage writing experience. So we are going to peel the onion, as Jackie says, and what you don't know about pre-approval. So if you haven't been watching so far, you can't miss this one because this is what's going to make sure you avoid the mistake of a bad pre-approval and a lost home. So let's dive in, Jackie. What do most people misunderstand about the pre-approval process? So the average person, I am 27, 32, just got married. I want to buy my house. I'm going to go to my mom and dad and they're going to send me to my bank. I'm going to go to RBC. So if I did that, what could happen?
Well, some banks, they won't even order your credit report. They won't pull your credit. They'll take an application or they'll do a client profile. They'll go on their computer screen and fill in all the details, put you in their system, and they're going to go, yeah, you're good to go because they press this button and it's an automated pre-approval and you can buy for 320 grand with 5% down. So
based
they're
on
going
the
to tell you
information
that.
that they input, right?
Yeah, based
Assuming
on this. Yeah, and you're going to walk out of there with that on hand.
I've got a
And
piece of paper. It's official. It's from RBC or it's from CIBC. It's
yeah,
from TD, right?
yeah. Or what if you go into the RBC and the RBC declines you? No,
That's a
well,
good point. Yeah.
well, yeah. And if you're dealing with somebody at the bank, sometimes the bankers, they don't really have, like, they're not experts. They're people that maybe had a short course on mortgages and they're at the front desk and that's who your first point of entry is, who you're talking to. And they might decline you and you walk out and you tell your realtor you can't buy a house and you're dejected and you walk away. And if you're dealing with Leanna would say, oh, you need to talk to my mortgage broker, Jackie. So then you would call me, and you can call me anytime. I don't work banker hours. Call me anytime, weekends, evenings, and I will tell you what you need to do to be pre-approved, because maybe the banker couldn't tell you that.
So those are some of those things that they misunderstand. So they misunderstand that they need their credit report pulled, like to actually know where they stand financially, because those things will happen once the offer is written on my end and then it's pending and then I send you that deal. So if Jackie gets a deal that someone has been told, maybe they end up going to Jackie, she didn't pre-approve them. But if Jackie gets a deal, for example, then it goes forward. She then sends it to the underwriter. It is going to get pulled. So your credit's going to get pulled at that point. So the purpose of the pre-approval, from what I understand, is to ensure that you've got all your financial ducks in a row and there isn't a surprise later.
Right? And really, the expert has to ask you the right questions, because if you're dealing with somebody who isn't experienced, they're going to have an application format and they're going to ask you those questions and you're going to answer them. But maybe there's other information that needs to be told.
For example, if you are a business owner, right? Maybe if you've just gotten your permanent, maybe you're just here on a work permit. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Right?
Different rules about that. Oh,
If we get clients who have money overseas, right? That's a big thing for sure.
Yeah. How long does it have to be in a Canadian bank?
How long have they been at their job?
Yeah. And exactly how they get paid, or, perhaps they're on contract, meaning that their job will expire after a period of time, or perhaps the employer isn't deducting taxes at source. Well, that's a whole different application. The buyer's not getting asked the right questions. They're not giving the right answers. And it really is, at the end of the day, once they've got an offer on the go, that we find out it's like, oh, that's come up. And that, of course, the buyer's disappointed because they say, well, nobody ever asked me about it.
Exactly. And that's not their fault, right? At the end of the day, they relied on experts that were not experts. It's the illusion of, right, that they're in good hands.
Anybody can call themselves an expert.
Yeah. For sure. So how can buyers make sure that they are positioned strongly for the 2025 market?
Tell your mortgage broker everything.
So I am just going to pop in quickly. When you say tell them everything, in my experience, money is emotional. Would you say you've had that experience? Meaning, so I may have some shame that I have missed a few payments, or I may not want to disclose, right? Like, do you think that is part of what happens with people? So it takes a while to peel that onion for them to feel comfortable to just say, okay, here it is.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, that is my pain. Yes.
So money, it's an emotionally charged subject.
Yeah, and I always have to say many times, I am not judging. I won't judge you. tell me everything.
There you go.
Tell me what happened. And if there is something bad that happened, I want to know the whole story, because sometimes, very often, bad things happen to good people, but it was for a good reason. And if the person has done all the right things since the bad things happen, then there's exceptions to rules that lenders will make. Just tell me everything.
Yes. So that's part of the opportunity, I'd say, with working with an expert like Jackie, is she works with a judgment-free zone. So she's got so much experience and understands the hurdles that buyers will even have with expressing and sharing their financial information. So she's going to set up an environment for you that you feel comfortable to give the information, to disclose what she needs to help you get the house that you want. So I think that that's a really critical point to make. Position strongly for them to look at houses is to go to an expert who has experience, who creates, I would say, I don't know if you've used this, but a safe environment, like a judgment-free zone where they can share their information, they feel comfortable, and then you get to do the job to get them the house that they want. Okay. Awesome. So we got to start with a pre-approval. So it's time, my friends. Guess what? Me and Jackie put together a new home buyer power pack, and it is packed with everything you're going to need to prepare yourself to buy for 2025. So it has a calculator for a new home buyer just to get an idea of where you're at already. It's also preparing you to look at some of the questions Jackie's already alluded to, that if you go to somebody who's unexperienced, that they may not ask you those right questions. So it's going to help you with your budget. It's also going to give you winning scripts if you happen to be in multiple offers at a new home buyer checklist. So don't wait. Click the link below. Next, get pre-approved with Jackie, and then I'm downstream. You can call me after. We'll see you next time, guys.